This is Dane Crowley, and I help business owners and CEOs free up more time to increase profitability by helping them improve operational efficiency with digital technology. In today's video, we're going to be talking about building a user friendly website that drives sales and the importance of e commerce in a digital era. This is part of my 52 weeks of digital transformation for single establishment professional service firms. But if you're just any other type of business, I'm pretty sure this information will apply to you as well. So we already know what our problem has been for the whole series, and it's estimated that by 2040, close to 95% of all purchases will be made through e-commerce. So everything will be purchased through the internet. So the question becomes, will your company be ready? And the solution to this problem is obviously, in order to be ready, you have to start converting your traditional goods and services into digital products today. And that entails turning some of your physical services into actual courses, per se, or productizing some of your physical services so that you can, in a sense, turn it into a la carte product, if that makes sense, that can be purchased through your website. So, since that's pretty much the gist of what we'll be talking about today, let's go ahead and dive on in, get to the main event. So, point one, when you're entering the digital arena, it's important for you to understand that your website design principles need to focus on making sure the user gets the experience they're looking out of the transaction, not necessarily what you feel is important or what you think is important. So it's important that you understand that having user friendly design in this regard, a website that is designed to produce sales. That's what's going to help enhance customer satisfaction as well as create that engagement that you need in order to drive sales. And so, if we take a look at something in the real world, we look at Airbnb and we see that the way they're if you've ever used the site, it's very user friendly. It's very simple. It's just pretty much point and click, but ultimately, it drives sales. It makes it very easy and simple for the user to log on, whether on their desktop or their tablet or their smartphone, and just go ahead and conduct the transaction, do what they need to do, and move on to the next task. So you want to make sure that when you're representing yourself online, you do the best you can to make sure that you're representing yourself in this manner. You want to make sure you create a user friendly website experience, because your website is, think of your website as the heart of your whole online presence. So you want to make sure as the cornerstone, the heart, you want to make sure that it does what it has to do, which is produce sales. And the way it's going to produce those sales can be directly by making the conducting, starting the purchase transaction through your website, or by just using your website as a lead generator in order to get people to give you a phone call or schedule an appointment directly with you. So, action steps, website design principles for optimal user experience. Now, as we just said, it's important that we prioritize sales over looking cool. A lot of times, business owners like to build a website that looks cool, that represents what they believe is their brand. And while we're never going to discount the importance of how a website looks, because how it looks is definitely important, but we just want to make sure that our priority, our main focus is on what we're there for, the first thing, or the one thing, and that's to produce sales. So if it ever comes down to a design element in regards to producing sales or just looking cool, it always has to default to producing sales, because that's the purpose of the website. But when it does come to looking cool, you want to make sure that you put out a very clean design. It's easy to navigate. You want to make sure that it's mobile responsiveness, and that it's easy to navigate. If someone's on their tablet or their smartphone, and you also just want to make sure that, again, that it's focused on producing a sale. So, for example, in this case, let's just say if you're a plumber and you're obviously have a website up, obviously you want to use this first section of your website, which is called the header or the hero section. You want to use this part to establish to that person that lands on your page, in a sense, what you do, what's in it for them, and what's the first step to get started. So as we see here, it's obviously, if you got a leak, then we fix leaks. We're a plumber, and to get started, we'll fix leaks for you, without you having to get dirty and put the time into it and mess it up more because you don't have the expertise. And then to get started, all you gotta do is schedule service right now. So just make it real simple for your customers and your prospective customers to do business with you online by just keeping everything simple, keeping everything user friendly, keeping everything clean, easy to navigate, and most importantly, make sure they can use the site on their websites, on their desktop, as well as their tablets and their mobile devices. Moving right along. Point number 2, the importance of fast loading pages for better SEO and user retention. Now, it's important to understand that, time is money, as they say in some circles. But just for the sake of the meaning of the term, people, they're online, they're looking for things, and in this day and age, very immediate gratification, very impatient. So don't miss out on the sale just because your website took too long to load, and don't miss out on the sale because your website takes too long to load. So Google and other search engines aren't prioritizing in the search engine. All right, because there's simple tools you can use to make sure that your website is always going to be loading fast. Because one of the biggest things that slows website speed down is going to be the images that you're using on the website. So it's important that you use tools like Google's page speed insights to get a better understanding of what's working and what's not for your specific website page, and then that's going to give you more insights into what needs to be done to improve your page speed. And in most instances, it's going to revolve down to the size of your images, or if you have a video that you're directly hosting on your website. All right, as opposed to hosting it on a third party site like a Vimeo or a YouTube, where you're just taking a link and embedding it. Most likely you're just taking a link and you're embedding it. You're embedding the video on your web page. So the video isn't being hosted through your server, which is in a sense going to somewhat slow down, it's the page's ability to load, its loading speed. All right. So next action step: the importance of a fast loading page for better SEO and user retention. Again, you want to make sure your website is optimized for performance by making sure, again, your images are compressed. You're minimizing plugins in this day and age when we're using content management systems like WordPress. And you want to make sure that in certain instances you use a content delivery network. If it's more higher level, but it's still one of your options. So, for example, you can use a site like Optimizilla. It's free. And that allows you to take the images that you're going to put on your website, run them through there. It's going to compress the images down. So it's basically going to make the file size smaller, so that when you upload the image, you're not going to necessarily lose out on any resolution, but, the image is going to be compressed to a point where, it's going to allow your page to load faster. And that's what you really, really, really want. All right. So moving right along. Point number 3. So integrating e-commerce functionality for online transactions. Now we're in the big leads, ladies and gentlemen, because once you start conducting business online, at least from a marketing perspective, which is getting your word out there, letting it be known that you exist. Once you actually get to the nitty gritty of things, it's time to conduct business, because again, as a business, every business needs sales to survive. Sales is the lifeblood of any business. Again, if the website is the heart, sales is the blood that needs to be pumped through it. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure that you produce some sales, and one of the best ways to produce some sales is making an offer. One of the best way to make an offer is to set up a website that allows you to conduct the actual online transaction. So more than likely, you've heard of the site called Shopify, and it's one of the most popular e-commerce platforms online. And it's a good place to start if you have physical products, your ship products, and in some instances, digital products. But it's just a great, pretty much content management system for you just to kind of get started, without necessarily being tech savvy. Uh, I believe no, they do have a free. That you can do a free trial, to start off, and then you're gonna, but again, it's no different than if you were to, start, a bakery, a bakery shop selling cupcakes and cookies on Main Street in any country USA, and that you're gonna have to pay rent. So same thing online, So Shopify is one of those types of, your landlord in a sense. It will be in this case, but you pay your rent once you finish your free trial, and you conduct business. All right. So now that we've talked about, the most popular e-commerce platform online right now, let's talk about some action steps. So action steps: integrating e-commerce functionality for online transactions. It's important that you explore some user-friendly e-commerce platforms to enable online sales, which is going to be convenient for you and the customer. In that, you as the business owner, the CEO, you're going to be able to collect money literally 24/7, 365. But for the customer, they don't have to, conduct transactions on your calendar. They can conduct their transactions on their timeline. Because you got to remember, it's, for example, if you provide home services, a lot of people have jobs during the day, so they're not necessarily available during the day when you're open, or when your office is open to transact business. But when they get off work, or maybe on a lunch break, but in this case, when they get off work in the evening hours, when your office is closed, just because your office is closed doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to conduct business. But in this day and age, you can still conduct business, and so one of the simplest things you can do, again, is making sure that on your website you have it structured and set up to where you're able to actually make an offer to collect a sale, and facilitate the online transaction, so that you get money from their bank account or their credit card to your bank account. And one of the simplest ways you can do this online right now is with a site called Stripe. And what Stripe allows you to do is, you can create, whatever, product you want to create, and then you copy a link. And then once you copy that link, you paste that onto your website as a button. And then when someone clicks that button, it then sends them to a page where they can input all their contact information, their credit card information, to conduct the transaction, facilitate the transaction, I should say. And then boom, once it's done, you get the money, they get the product. Then it automatically send them to whatever, if you're selling a digital product, it'll send them to the page where they need to go download the product. Or if you're just have an offer that you've productized one of your services to, where now you're just making the offer online, and then you're just going to obviously conduct the service offline over whatever course of time that you're conducting it, making it do what it do. All right, so that'll do it for this action step. Moving right along. Question: what features do you consider essential for a user-friendly website that drives sales? How do they impact your online experience? So think about it and understand that. Start paying attention. When you have to conduct online transactions, what are some of the things that are jumping out to you? What are some of the things that you're starting to see that are in common, as you go to different websites? Because there is a framework that is used, that from top-notch brands that you're very familiar with, that you can also use to use your website to produce sales. So in a sense, you could turn your website into your company's best salesperson that's able to conduct business 24/7, 365, and actually collect the money, actually get paid faster. And it's just a matter of just knowing how to just set this stuff up properly, and you can do it. You just got to take the time to figure out how. And that's where a guy like me comes in. All right. So if you want to learn more, comment below, go digital, and we can go ahead and start facilitating the transaction. If you want to also learn more, head over to DhaneCrawley.com. And I look forward to talking to you, because I'm really, 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 really know and believe that, as time goes on, as more people understand, just the importance of the internet, it's no longer this some luxury or child's toy. They're going to need, this type of help. And so, even if you're able to learn this stuff and be able to teach them, then let's make it happen. All right. So it's going to take all of us to make any one of us greater. All right. On that note, make it a great day. Dane Diesel out. Peace.